Gavin, who had molested me when I was about the same age and just as physically childlike as my own daughter. He'd done it on a night when I was so embittered by adult betrayals that I'd gotten drunk and slit my wrists. When I'd complained, he was banished from the inner circle for a while, but I was punished too for blowing the whistle on my father's lifestyle. "Hey, Gavin," I said coolly, taking the high road. "Nice to see you. You look really good." Pushing past him, I reached an oasis, Peter Bogdanovich, my father figure friend and the director of Paper Moon. He wore his signature ascot, which would have looked funny and affected on any other man. It flashed me back to the day when we met for the first time at my father's house in Malibu. He asked me to take a walk with him on the beach. "You don't look like you belong on the beach," I said, staring at that ascot. He'd rolled up his pants, and we headed off for what turned out to be my audition. I was a scrawny, knock-kneed little waif at 7, with tangles in my hair and no acting training. In fact, with little formal schooling at all. But Peter took me on. He'd later say that it was my scrappy attitude that got me the job. We exchanged warm greetings and then took our seats, with Peter as a bulwark between me and my father. As the credits rolled, there was a wild clapping for Madeline Kahn, also nominated for Best Supporting Actress for the film, who'd recently died of cancer. Then the screen filled with my wounded, willful face, as 8-year-old Addie Loggins, standing on the prairie over her mother's open grave in Depression-era Kansas. I hadn't seen the movie in years. Entertainment Weekly would say that my performance rewrote the book on movie moppets, calling me feisty, a child star for a hip, cynical age. Seeing that little face again reminded me that pain was the flip side of feistiness. My own young life had eerily echoed Addie's, even though my mother was still alive. In the grip of addiction, she virtually abandoned me and Griffin, leaving us in squalor, starving, shoeless, and ragged, as well as beaten and abused by the men in her life. Ryan finally came to my rescue just as he was doing on screen in a sputtering old jalopy playing Moses Mo's Prey, the Bible-peddling con man who was probably Addie's pa. He thought working together in Paper Moon would help us bond. This was her first opportunity to channel her mind and energy into something constructive, he told the press, and this movie would give her something she never had enough of: love. I never dreamed that shooting a film would be so hard. I imagined that it would be like play rehearsal with everyone sitting around on stools reciting lines to one another. The reality was both far more challenging and grueling, for there was less regulation then of child actors' hours. Even the concept of acting confused me. Idolizing my father and desperate to please, I once blew a take when I panicked at his gruffness and blurted, "Daddy, are you mad at me?" "No," he growled, "I'm doing the scene." Still, when I ad-libbed, Peter trusted me. The opening sequence ends with 2 church ladies persuading Mose to deliver Addie to her aunt in Missouri. They are gathering near a water pump, and a preacher says, "Let the child get some water." As they haggle with Mose, trying to fob me off, the minister hands me a cup of water without a word of comfort. It wasn't in the script, but I knew exactly instinctively what Addie had to do. I turned away and dumped it on the ground. There's such a sadness and hopelessness in that gesture, coming from a character who has lost her barfly mother, the devil she knew. But there's a defiance, too, proof that her spirit is unbroken. It is a measure of Peter's genius as a director that he recognized how deeply I identified with Addie's bruised innocence, steely wariness, and above all, resilience. I knew firsthand what it would take for her to survive. At the time, Ryan was considered one of America's best and most versatile actors. In What's Up, Doc, he had been laugh-out-loud funny, and in Love Story he was a beautiful, crystal-clear man with blue eyes and a soft, miracle voice, an irresistible heartthrob. In Paper Moon, he was truly at the top of his game. However, as Peter Bogdanovich would say of Paper Moon, Ryan's wonderful in it, and he sat there and watched the kids steal the picture. I remained Ryan's companion on the Hollywood party circuit, growing inured to sex and drugs before I was in my teens, a needy little girl, still haunt.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.